welcome back to my channel, Marshmallow Reads. I'm Marcy, and today I'm going to do a book haul video. This is my first time making a Thriftbooks order. This video is not sponsored by anyone besides me and my wallet, so this is just me wanting to try on an online bookshop. And in the future, I do want to try out bookshop.org and maybe even trying to contact my local bookshops to see if I can make an order through them. I don't really know what their processes are right now, and I'll get to it later. Today, I'm just going to show you all what I got in this Thriftbooks order, and I'm excited to read all of it, which is good because I paid money for these books, so I hope so. Yeah, let's get started. Okay. The first book on this list is The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. So I've never actually read a book by her before, although I have heard some great things. I'm really looking forward to reading this finally. I think it's been on my TBR for since it came out? Probably. But basically it is a sci-fi fantasy novel, and it takes place actually, no, first, this is the first book of a series that currently has 3 books. I don't know if it's going to stay a trilogy or if there are more after, but I know it's a part of a series. I do know that this novel takes place on a planet that has a single continent, and it has its normal 4 seasons, you know, winter, spring, summer, fall. But every couple centuries, they have a 5th season, which is just catastrophic climate change. And that's all I really know about this book. And I'm probably going to keep the mystery there because I tend to like going into books somewhat blind, so I don't want to spoil myself too much. But yeah, it's a beautiful cover. I'm really looking forward to reading this one. The next book in this haul order is I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid. This is actually a reread for me, or it's going to be a reread. I first read this book over the summer and loved it. I maybe got a little obsessed. I was mad at the time that I didn't have a physical book that I can just highlight stuff and put notes down, and I'm not typically that kind of reader, so that kind of surprised me. But man, I don't know if you can see, this cover is for the Netflix adaptation that came out in September, and I normally don't like my books to have the movie adaptation cover or the TV series. I prefer the original covers, especially for this one. The original cover here, it is very tonally connected to the book, to the actual plot, and I think this one is as well. It's it makes sense with the tone of the story, but maybe more so towards the adaptation, if that makes sense. I'll get to that in a bit. But basically, I highly suggest going into this one with as little information about the plot as possible. The surprises, the twists, that kind of stuff is worth it, in my opinion. So the basic bare bones of this plot is that there is a young woman, and she has been having thoughts about her current relationship. It is with a man that she hasn't been with for, a very long time, maybe just a few months, and she's about to go on this road trip with him to his parents' house. They live in the city, and his parents are out in the countryside, and it is a snowy day, and she's just, sitting in this car with him, having these kind of weird conversations with him, and all the while thinking this recurring thought, I'm thinking of ending things. And that's it. I'm not going to tell you anymore. They you know, they have dinner with his parents. It's weird. If you want some tonal clues, it's unnerving, unsettling, especially towards the end. It gets into some horror, definitely. Oh man, I think I might end up doing a full review on this one, especially so I can talk about the differences between the book and the movie adaptation, because when I first saw the movie, I was kind of disappointed because it didn't follow the book super closely. It like had some stylistic differences. I mean, it was directed and written as well by Charlie Kaufman. He is best known for his works Adaptation and Being John Malkovich. I love his movies. He's brilliant and just needs more money thrown at his work. So I knew I was gonna like the movie, but I think I should have gone in with slightly different expectations. I was disappointed at the slight differences that he took, and ultimately I think that's the best you can do with adaptations. If you love the source material so much, that's great. It's never going to go away. You can always reread it to your heart's content. And when you have this adaptation of something you love, I think it's best for you and me and everyone to go in knowing that it may not be exactly what you want it to be, and that's okay. I think it's creative and interesting to see where these stories can be taken. But yes, I highly recommend this book. It is one of my favorites currently, and I can't wait to reread it. The next book that I got is Girl Made of Stars by Ashley Herring Blake, and this is a YA novel, contemporary, with some LGBT elements in it as well. And this story follows Mara and her twin brother. She is basically dealing with the situation where her twin brother has been accused of sexual assault by his girlfriend. And the story deals with her figuring out if she believes him when he says that he didn't do it, and, you know, the social ramifications surrounding that, and him being her twin brother. And Mara, the twin, she also has to be dealing with, at the same time, coming out of a relationship with her girlfriend. And so she's going through some stuff. She's got intense emotions all around, and I don't know, I've heard good things. I love the cover. That's kind of all I know about it. I haven't really gone too in-depth into reviews and stuff. Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading more YA. I've been sort of expanding into that category after a very long hiatus since I exited high school. But the ones that I've read so far this year I have really enjoyed, and hopefully this is another one that I enjoy. I have another reread in this haul. This is the second of two that I got, and it is one of my favorite books of all time. This is going to be a reread after 5, 6, a good number of years, and it is Never Let Me Go by Kazu Ishiguro. And it is like a dystopian sci-fi novel. This book takes place in a small, tiny little like boarding school out in the English countryside, and the students are taught well, you know, they're taught how to be little humans and learning about the history, some art, English, you know, normal school classes. But they're not really taught too much about current events. They don't really hear much about the world outside of their school, and they don't ever really leave their school either. And once you start reading, you'll find out why. And man, this book, when I first read it, really got me emotionally. Like, especially towards the end when things start like coming to a head, and like, you know that this is where the book was going, that this is where these students' lives were headed, but it still hurts. Well, you know, like, it's like a tasty kind of sadness, at least for me. So I'm really looking forward to rereading again. I hope I still love it as much as I did the first time reading it. Maybe I'll read it a bit differently now that I've grown up a little bit, but should still be good. I love this author. I really like his writing. It's beautiful writing, not overly floral, overly artsy, but it does give you a very vivid view of the world that he is building. And I love the characters. The main girl, she has to deal with some stuff being like special in a way, and that specialness doesn't really mean that she gets a good ending per se. I've never actually seen the movie adaptation. I think Keira Knightley stars in it. I know it's been on my list for a while. Maybe I will get around to watching it after I reread this one more time. We'll see. The next book we have here is In the House, in the Dark of the Woods by Laird Hunt. And man, I love this cover. I don't know how many of these books I will ultimately be keeping after I read them. Only Never Let Me Go and I'm Thinking of Ending Things I know for sure I'm going to keep because I've read them in the past and love them so much that I just had to buy them. But these others, there's a pretty good chance that I'm going to donate them or sell them or gift them to a friend. But this guy, I haven't read it before, but just look at that cover. It is, it's so good. Like, even if I don't like the story, I might end up keeping it for the cover, just like put on a shelf somewhere. Like, oh, it's so witchy and so spooky, and I love it. Let me read the quote that kind of hooked me into this book. Once upon a time, there was and there wasn't a woman who went into the woods. And there's a witch? Maybe? Is she a witch? Or is she just a woman who thinks and has ideas? I don't know, but I am excited to find out. And that's all I know about this one. It was $5 and had this cover, so it was like an instant into cart for me. I love witchy things. If any of you all have like witch related recommendations, please leave them in the comments for me. I just want to read them all. Sorry, I don't know why I'm getting so excited about a cover, and like I don't really know anything about this book, but I'm very much looking forward to read it. And it's not very long. I find that shorter books tend to help me get through a reading, not really slump, but you know that feeling when you are coming off of reading a longer book, like 500, 800 page long book. I feel like after those, I need a palate cleanser, you know, something to kind of keep me going, keep me interested in reading and not like bogged down by the slog that I may or may not have just gone through. It's refreshing to get a shorter read in, or maybe a couple shorter reads in, to jumpstart my, my reading interest, something like that. But pretty pumped for this one. I have two more books in this haul, this one being Replay by Ken Grimwood. And I heard about this one in one of the various other booktubers I watched, one of their videos, it was suggested, I think, as like a standalone novel. And what really hooked me in is it uses the, what is it, the Groundhog Day trope. So basically, this one doesn't necessarily replay the same day over and over again, but there is a sort of like time loop mechanism to this story. The story in Replay starts with this guy Jeff. He's like 43, in an unhappy marriage, a dead-end job, kinda not really enjoying life. He is just really unhappy with his life and just kind of wading through everything, just like letting life happen to him rather than living his life. And then he dies. But then he wakes up and he is 18 again, about to start college. He has his whole life ahead of him again, and it's great. And he has the memories of the next 25 years still intact. And he's so excited. He's like, hell yeah, I get to retry this. Let's go. He gets a second chance at life, and then he's 43 again, in a better spot than he was before, I think. And then he dies again. And then when he wakes up, he's 18 again and seemingly starting this loop all over again. And I love this trope. I really, really do. And it's just really fun to see this character and watch them, how they make different decisions and realize, oh, wait, that was actually worse than what I did originally. Or, oh, yeah, I probably should have done that from the start. And yeah, that's all I really know. That's all I need to know about this one. And that's, I'm excited. We got a cult, baby. This is the last book that I got in this order, and it is After the Fire by Will Hill. And I only really know that it is about this family, I think, who did get out from being in a cult. And there was a fire and stuff. So I don't want to get further into the plot because I'm hooked. You got a story about a cult, and they're maybe after this family or something, and I'm excited. And I don't really need any other details. This is on the chunkier side, but I don't know, it's probably worth it. I'll see. Yeah, I love cult books. Oh, there was one earlier this year I read, I think it's called The Line? Something like that. And it was also about an ex-cult member who escaped her little like her commune. She escaped the commune and was free, but her niece and sister were still stuck inside, and she was like having to find a way to help them escape. All the while there's like a pandemic going on. You know, nothing that would be relevant at all to these times. But yeah, I like cult stories, both nonfiction, although I haven't really read too many nonfiction cult books. I should look into that more. But fiction cult books, very exciting. So yeah, that is my Thriftbooks order, and I'm really excited to read through all of these. Like, I don't even know which one to start with. But I do plan on savoring these and not trying to like devour them in a month all at once, because I don't really want to make it a habit to buy that many books. I've been doing a good job this year with just like checking books out of my library, and I've gotten a little bit better about reading the ones I already own. If you want to see a list or watch me talk about the books that I already own that I haven't read yet, the link is in the description. That is my first video. I'm excited to get to these once I do. And like I said, I do plan on making some other online shop orders in the future. I do really want to try out more indie bookshops, especially ones around me. So I'll be making a bit of an effort to look into those and maybe make another haul video in the future. If you would like to see something like that, if you're interested in those sorts of videos, please let me know in the comments. But thank you all for joining me today. I had a lot of fun chilling in my bed. Today was really cozy and fun, and I hope you all enjoyed spending some time with me. Have a lovely week, and I will see you next Thursday.